Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Technolite. In previous video we have learned about the creation of VLAN, types of VLAN, SS VLAN and Trunk VLAN, and we configure the SS port VLAN. Now in this video we are going to learn about the creation of the Trunk VLAN, how Trunk VLAN is created and how we can communicate in between the switches in devices. So let's start our video. Now let's start the same things. We'll do our another trunk part is left here. So for trunk VLAN, let's do the same what we have done earlier, that creating a VLAN and then defining it as a SS port. So we are making here topology. So we took the straight cable to connect between the switch and computer. Let's define the Ethernet port, that is the FastEthernet 0/2, and another is FastEthernet 0/1. Here this computer is also of our production side. Whether the computers are far away from each other physically, but logically they are very close to each other. That is the production side of switch 0 and production side of switch 1 will be on the same VLAN. So they are logically very close. Whether if you just see that they are very far from each other, but they will be logically very close to each other. So we are taking the production IP 192.168.2.2, which is the same, will be in the same network of what we have taken earlier for the production side, and 192.168.3.2 for the sales side. Again we will do the configuration what we have done earlier, that is the creating of VLAN for the switch 1 and then assigning the VLAN and defining the SS port. So let us start. For that we have the same command for the creation of VLAN, that is VLAN 33 name production. Again for sales side we have VLAN 99 name sales. Next bit. So let's see the VLAN. So we can see here two VLAN is created, that is the production and sales. Production VLAN is 33 and sales VLAN ID is 99. So now let's define these VLAN for fast Ethernet. So interface fast Ethernet 0/1 will be in our VLAN 33. So for that is command, here we have switchport mode SS and switchport SS VLAN 33. Now we'll do the same thing for our sales side. We have interface fast Ethernet, our fast Ethernet 0/2 will be the VLAN 99. So for that we will write switchport mode SS and switchport SS VLAN 99. So in this way we have created VLAN, assigned the switch port for the Access VLAN. So let's see. Oh, so if you see here, the VLAN 33 has been assigned with the FastEthernet 0/1, VLAN ID 33, and FastEthernet 0/2 with VLAN ID 99. So in this way, we have created the access port for switch 0 and access port for switch 1. Now our other part is creating the trunk VLAN. So we have talked earlier that to connect the two switches we require cross cable, and here between the two switches we require the trunk port, trunk VLAN. Trunk port is used to carry the multiple VLAN. Here the production VLAN 33 and sales VLAN 99 will pass in between switch 0 and switch 1. So multiple VLAN will be passed through the trunk port. So let's define the IP address. Let's assign the IP address. For that we'll go to the desktop IP configuration and write our IP address and subnet mask. Subnet, if you talk about subnet mask, defines the number of network and number of hosts. By default, for class C it is 255.255.0. It means 24 bit is used for the network bit and remaining 8 bit is used for the host bit. IPv4 addressing is 32 bit, in which there is a network part and the sales part bit representation. We see we have defined the trunk port. Also for in devices we have the access port. So we are writing here for in devices access, and for the intermediate devices we have trunk. Now our other part will be the creation of trunk. For that we will enter into switch 0 command line interface and write interface FastEthernet 0/3. We have used here 0/3 of switch 0 and 0/3 of switch 1 to connect in between. For that we have switch mode trunk and cheat. Now we'll see show VLAN brief. In this way we will not be able to see the trunk part. For that we have the switch show interface trunk. Our command will show interface trunk. So running configuration can also show the trunk VLAN. So let's see. So we can see here switch port. Our FastEthernet 0/1 lies on the VLAN 33 access mode. Similarly, FastEthernet 0/2 VLAN 99 access port, and our FastEthernet 0/3 is for trunk port. We can clearly see that here which port is access port and which port is the trunk port, what we have defined in our command line interface. Other command to see the trunk port, we can also use show interface trunk. So interface trunk can also be used to see the trunk configuration part. So let's use that as well. So interface trunk. So we can see here FastEthernet 0/3 is the encapsulation 802.1 key is used for trunking. So if you talk about what is 802.1q, it is a networking standard used to tag the Ethernet frames with the VLAN ID, so that the switches and router know which VLAN the frame belongs to. We'll do the same thing for our switch 1, that is the creation of that port or defining the required port for the trunk mode, that is the interface FastEthernet 0/3 switch port mode trunk. In this way we have defined the trunk mode for switch 0 and switch 1. So if you write the command show interface trunk, it will show the trunk port of a switch, encapsulations, status a trunking. So in this way we have created VLAN, access port, trunk port. Now we can test by pinging. We'll be able to ping in between the same VLAN but not able to ping to another VLAN. To ping the another VLAN, we require the inter-service VLAN, that is the router. Router will be used to communicate in between the different VLANs. Here we see that we are not able to contact computer on another VLAN. So we can see that we can test here. So thank you for today. So if you liked my video, please like, subscribe, comments. Thank you.